Hello everyone, this is just a really short video talking about something that I think is really important in both the reading and the writing sections of the exam, and that is PAFT, or Purpose, Audience, Format and Tone. Now, lots of people talk about these things in different ways, so again, just saying that different teachers teach things in different ways, and this is just one of the things that I do, and there's no kind of right way of doing it, it's just different methods. So this is the writing mark scheme. Now there are some things in here that you kind of need to be aware of. This idea of in band 5, the appropriate register confidently adapted to purpose and audience. In band 4, consistently adapted to purpose and audience. Register mostly appropriately adapted to purpose and audience. As you can see, it's actually in every single band. Even in band 1, you are expected, to attempt to adapt your register to purpose and audience. And it's really important that you're aware of that, especially as you see as well, it talks about understanding the reader's needs and showing an awareness of how to create effect to interest the reader. So you really need to be aware of these things if you want to hit any of the marks for communication and organisation, because it's easy to lose them if you're not sure. So how does this apply to our writing, and what actually is purpose, audience, format and tone? Well, it's as simple as this really. Purpose is, why has someone sat down and written this piece of writing? So what are they trying to do? And you will be asked to actually write one of these pieces and consider one of these purposes, or at least one of these purposes, in your exam, depending on which unit that you're doing. And as well as that, you want to be aware of, when you're analysing a text and when you're looking at the reading section, what the writer has decided to try and achieve by creating this text. So things like argue, persuade, advise, inform, explain, etc. And each of these is different, and each of these has different requirements, and it's so important that you understand that these different requirements will be the difference between a successful and an unsuccessful piece of writing. The other really important one would be the audience. So if you're writing for children or teenagers, then your language will be very different to if you're writing for experts, if you're writing for workers, if you're writing for professionals, if you're writing for adults, if you're writing for certain demographics that are knowledgeable in certain areas. So it makes a huge difference depending on who you're writing for, because that tends to inform a lot of the language and the structure, and as well as that, the content and the ideas. The form is usually given to you, so you will know if it's going to be a leaflet or a letter or a blog or an email, etc. And then finally, you've got the tone, so the mood of the writing. Now, in its simplest form, this can be formal or informal. You will always be expected in the exam to write in a formal, standard English style. By that, I mean you are expected to always be grammatically correct. But in terms of your tone, you can imagine that if you were saying this to someone, what they would think your mood was. And again, it's informed by the purpose and the audience mainly, but it's something for you to consider. And on this slide, you can see there's some examples there as well. So that's how all of this works. Now, it's really important because depending on what kind of writing you do, depends entirely on how you structure, what connectives you use, what things to consider. So writing to describe, you could be including senses and sensory imagery, and the subtle differences between them as well, things like arguing versus persuading, and so on. So this is just a little bit of a reminder and kind of something that you may want to be aware of. Both your reading and your writing require this skill, but every single text will have a purpose and an audience, a format and a tone. And if you can identify those easily and efficiently, then you can create very specifically targeted pieces of writing that will hit your audience exactly where you want them, and will create a piece of writing that is far more structured and far more tailored to the audience than perhaps you would otherwise. And considering it's in all of the criteria for content and organisation in all 5 bands, it's definitely something worth thinking. So I'm hoping that that's a little bit clearer now. I'm going to be talking about accuracy in writing and some other sort of points to consider and exercises that you can do as part of your Easter revision to boost the accuracy, but as well as the accuracy, some of the creativity in your writing. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next video.